Hey Coach, in today's video, we're going to talk about how to use your social media content to start generating more leads and turn them into customers. Are you ready? Let's get started. What's up, Coach? Beverly Simpson here, owner of B Simpson Fitness and the founder of the PT Profit Formula. And in today's video, we're diving in to how we can generate more leads from our traffic. So turning our social media followers, our Instagram followers, our Facebook followers, whatever the platform is, and how we can use our content to actually turn them into potential leads so that they can become customers using the messaging in your content. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out this video, because that video is the breakdown of the PT Profit Formula, and you need to know what your product and service is first before we can start creating a content plan and messaging around your content so that you know exactly, specifically how you are intending to use the content in your social media to generate leads and then customers. If you haven't already, there is a video on my page about how to get more high-paying clients. So be sure to check that out because I break down the PT Profit Formula and it might help you execute your marketing plan and use this content effectively if you know what your product and service is and who it is that you are talking to. Okay, let's dive in. So there are 5 types of content that I want you to be thinking about. Now, if you remember from that previous video that I referenced, I was talking about how the 3 pillars work synergistically together. That is your product, your position, and your plan. So depending on where you are in your plan, there are 3 phases to your business cycle, essentially. So you have the interruption phase where you are just pumping people with, hi, this is me, hey, interrupting your feed. You're getting them to stop the scroll. You're shifting their perspective. This is your content that is the polarizing content. We're going to get into that. And then you're going to move into that inspiring phase where you're rallying the troops, where you're connecting with people, where you are showing people who you are, where you're standing for something and you are aligning and you are motivating and inspiring your people and getting them to move along your journey. And then you have the invite phase where you are inviting them into a sales conversation or maybe a webinar or maybe a challenge. You are inviting them to have some sort of free experience, and rather it's not free because you're asking for either time and or an email address. So there is a reciprocity. There is an exchange of energy in that ask. So that is important to note. It's not for free. Time you can never get back. Money we can always generate. So don't take for granted the fact that people are giving you their time. So there is that invite phase, and then there is an invite into the sale, because transformation does not happen until there's a transaction. Think about it. How many times have you had those clients that you keep giving free information, free, and they're just not taking it, they're not running with it? It's because there's not a lot of skin in the game. And once people can put skin in the game, that's typically when they say yes. They are committing to themselves. They are making a commitment, which tends to increase adherence, which means that they will start to get results. So selling is a service. Now we'll do a whole other video on that later, but those are the 3 phases in how you should be thinking about using your content. So now let's get into the 5 types of content. The first is a thought reversal. Now let me just go ahead and say that this is a trademark name by one of my mentors, Brandon Lucero. He was the one who taught me all about a thought reversal. And if you want the ins and outs of a thought reversal, then go ahead, check him out. He will teach you all about how to use a thought reversal, but this concept comes from him. And And honestly, it's the best. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to create my own. Honestly, a thought reversal is his invention and it's the best. And what that piece of content is designed to do is to shift the perspective, to shift the belief of your ideal client, and also to shift the belief of an industry norm that you don't agree with. This is the piece of content that is polarizing. This draws the line in the sand, because honestly, that's all marketing is. Marketing is making a case for your belief, for your point of view, for your solution. And you need to overcome the objections, which objections are living in what people believe, what your clients believe. And you need to demonstrate, you need to show them that what they currently believe or what their current way of doing things isn't working. And your thought reversals, your lines in the sand, your pieces of content that go against industry norms and overcome their objections are going to be what stops the scroll, are going to be, who is this person? And it's very important that you use these pieces of content to shift the perspective. It's not enough to just say this is wrong. Because if you say this is wrong and someone doesn't agree with you, they're going to say no and just keep moving along. This piece of content, you need to shift their perspective and get them to see it a different way. Like using a counterexample, like using statistics, like using social proof, back up your claim, using a metaphor. So the skeleton of a thought reversal is calling out what many or most people believe, calling out the belief that you're trying to shift, empathizing with them, understand why they feel this way, and then shift it using a counterexample, metaphor, and then explain and then show the steps to what you want them to believe. So that's the fundamentals of a thought reversal. The second type of content is your friend content, your connection content, your know, like, and trust pieces of content. People like to purchase from people they know, like, and trust. And so putting out the content that shows who you are, shows your story, shows the client successes that you can illustrate, that shows your mission, that shows your purpose, your company values, what you stand for, what you believe in. Those types of content are going to be what connects your ideal client to you. The third piece of content, which is what most people continuously start with and only do, which is important, but you need to have all pieces of the content, is the how-to. So this is where you get to demonstrate your authority in your niche and in your business. Because people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. So you need to have that friend style of content, but you also need to teach, because they're going to purchase from people if they already assume that you're an authority. Now, if you're having any reservations on whether or not you're authority or not, then I want you to check out this video all about imposter syndrome, because it's not a matter about being the best, the only one, or knowing everything. It's about being one step ahead of your ideal customer and being dedicated to figuring out all of the problems to help them get to their solution. That's what being an authority is about. Being an authority is deciding that you are one, and then doing and then being and doing what it takes to assume that role. But it's not about being the best, and it's not about being perfect. It's about helping and being one step ahead of your ideal client. So the how-to pieces of content, these are typically your teaching pieces, which have a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So these are your pieces of content that are 3 ways to get more vegetables at breakfast, 4 ways to lose fat without dieting, best ways to, 5 steps to decrease your hunger at night. Those are typically your teaching how-to pieces of content. And then the fourth piece of content is your value add. So now what is the difference between a value add and a how-to? So a value add is a teaching piece or a type of content you are teaching. However, it might not necessarily have step 1, step 2, step 3. So an example that I often use, or that a lot of fitness professionals use, or you'll see, are those memes. So you'll see like 5 ways to get healthy carbs at breakfast. That would potentially be a how-to. But then a value add would be the nutritional differences between a sweet potato and a white potato. So it's not necessarily step 1, step 2, step 3, but you are teaching, you are adding value. Those are the types of content that you could be creating in your social media network. Whether you're using Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, name it, those types of content can still transcend to all platforms. The fifth type piece of content, and I'm laughing because my clients know that I'm terrible at this piece of content, but this is like the motivation. This is the content that's like, you can do it, don't quit, results don't happen if you quit, keep going. These are the inspiring, motivational pieces of content. Oftentimes they're in memes. I'm not awesome at this, full transparency, but there are a lot of people that are, and maybe you are. And listen, I'll share that the types of content that often get saved are the inspiring quotes. So, and inspiring means and things that help people feel motivated. So it's not a piece of content to ignore. But one thing I want to say is that it's not just about only teaching, because listen, if you just teach, it's going to feel, oftentimes people will start to get their blinders on, and it'll feel like that, how Charlie, isn't it Charlie Brown, where the mom's like, wah, 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 and that's all you hear? That's what's going to happen to your ideal client if you just constantly teach at them all the time. It has to be a mixture of both. People want to know that you're an authority, but they also want to connect with you. And so your pieces of content are designed to do that. So now you can take these 5 pieces of content and you can put it into your different topics, and your topics will come from your overarching categories. So if you're in health, for example, if you're in health and fitness, if you've got a category on mindset, a category on nutrition, and a category in movement, and maybe a category in stress or a category in rest, those are really big themes. You can start breaking down those themes into different topics. So if the theme is nutrition, your topic is carbohydrates, protein, fats, whatever your topic is. And then you can take those 5 pieces of content and create one for each topic. So now you want to be thinking about your pieces of content and how it fits into your marketing plan. So if you are in the inspiring phase, or if you are in the interruption phase, it's a perfect time for you to really be trying to stop the scroll, grow an audience, and thinking about, what does the industry push out that I don't agree with? And what do my clients believe about these themes, these topics, that I can start creating content that's going to shift their perspective. That's what that focus is. That's what the intent is. And then as you move along and you go into the inspiring phase, now that's not to say you can't have all of the content, in. I just want you to be focusing on where your intention is depending on your phase. So you can still have thought reversals in your inspiring phase, but maybe it's just not your main focus. It's still in there, but your main focus is to inspire and create engagement and community with the people that are in front of you. And then as you go into the invite phase, you're going to have these pieces of content, but the intention behind it shifts into creating demand for whatever the experience is that you're inviting them to. So if you're inviting them to a sales call or into a strategy session where they're going to walk away knowing how to get to their goal, then your content needs to create demand for that call. Because it's not enough that it's just free. Because remember, it's not free. Time is an investment. Email real estate is an investment. So the actual template of a piece of content goes like this. Hook, you need to stop the scroll. The value, and then the last, which is the call to action. They're always, you need to either encourage them to like, to share, to engage, because Instagram, Facebook, these social media networks, these social media platforms, there's just a cocktail party. You're just hanging out with your friends. So you want to encourage them to connect, encourage them to engage, give them a reason, ask them a question. Or the call to action is to invite them into an experience where, depending on where you are in your plan. Now, people often ask me, okay, Beverly, I get that, but then how long is each phase? That's up to you. This is an accordion. You could do this in the span of a week, in a span of 3 months, in a span of a month. These are principles. Your job becomes then to just implement these principles. Now, if you like this video and you want some more help, then go ahead and download the 7-day social media content calendar, where I walk you through a how to do exactly what I'm talking about in this video for your content, and I give you the actual template so that you can start generating leads, get them on the phone, and turn them into high-paying customers. So if you like this video, go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions and what you want to see next. I'll see you on the next video.